Hello and welcome to our newborn photography safety series brought to you by StandInBaby. My name is Sandra Moffatt, and in an effort to make sure that we bring you all the information and facts relating to newborn safety, joining me throughout this series is well-respected neonatal nurse Anne-Marie Feary, who will be advising us on the essentials to safely working with newborns in a studio environment. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about safety issues with newborn photography. But before we start, I'd like to say that if you are unsure about anything you hear during this series, please seek advice from a medical practitioner near you and get the answers that you need. If you have been given information from other sources, make sure it's a reliable source because the health and well-being of our clients should always be put first. In this tutorial, we're going to do a walkthrough of the taco pose. We will be covering how to achieve this pose safely, as well as covering what to look out for and what to avoid. This pose is best for babies who naturally want to draw their legs up and under their bodies. But again, it is not a pose that every baby can do, and definitely not one I would do with babies who have unstable hips. Let's take a look. Taco pose is not an easy pose. It's definitely something that you're going to want to build up to. If you were just starting out, I would definitely be starting with the side and back poses. But once you're feeling confident, and definitely if you have a StandInBaby, practice it first. It's definitely not an easy pose to achieve, and probably not something you are going to achieve the first time you attempt it. It does require the baby to be in quite a bent position. The way we're going to achieve that is I'm going to use a rolled up towel. It's going to be placed underneath the blanket, and it's going to be a shelf that's going to support the baby's head. The reason why we need that is because, as you've been saying through the previous tutorials, the baby's head is so heavy, and so we don't want to put all of that weight onto the baby. I'm going to just quickly stick that underneath.
So whilst you're doing that, Sandra, I've actually been watching a few videos on YouTube because this is all new to me, and that quite a few photographers state that this is a very, very difficult pose to do. StandInBaby would be a perfect mannequin to be able to learn, a safe, non-judgmental environment to be able to do that. But you also do need to read your baby's cues and do not force your baby into any position that they do not want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm also aware that babies are super flexible because they have been in your belly for so long and it's such a confined space. But as they get older, their ability to bend is going to lessen. So whilst you can achieve this pose with certain babies, you may not be able to achieve it with all of them. And definitely as they get older, their ability to achieve this particular pose is going to lessen.
Well, they're little bones, they're not as calcified as what you and I do, and they do have the ability to be able to bend and everything. The babies have also got the hormones from the mum still, so all their little joints and everything are quite slack, and they're very relaxed. They've probably had some breast milk, and that puts them to sleep as well.
Which actually leads me to the next amazing point, is you are going to want a really sleepy baby for this pose. It's not going to be as easy to achieve on a baby that is very awake. I think they will squirm and definitely resist what you're trying to do with them. So I've just put my rolled up towel underneath the blanket just here, and it's just creating a shelf through here, which I'm going to have the baby's head sit on. Now, to do this pose, what you're going to need to do is you're going to start in a basic sort of burping position with your hands underneath its chin, sort of coming up and fully supporting the head. The next thing you're going to do is, clearly when the baby's sleepy, you're going to bring one hand up and you're going to place it between your two fingers here. And the reason we're going to do that is because this arm is going to become the arm at the back, and it is just going to support the baby and stop it from rolling over. As you were saying in one of our other poses, it's really a comfort thing for the baby as well, right? So holding the baby in a burping pose, we've now got this hand up. I'm going to reach underneath the baby's bottom, supporting both legs, and I'm going to bring it around to put onto the shelf that we've created earlier. Now, generally once you put the baby down, it may be unsettled a little bit, so what I'm going to do is just sort of allow the baby to rest into your hands for a moment. As you sort of notice that the baby is getting heavier and relaxing into your hands, just bring the legs around and across, and what you're going to do is I'm just going to bring that hand up here to sort of support it. What you're going to do is you're going to bring the leg closest to the camera and you're going to put it on top of the back leg. So you're just going to like cross them over, bringing them towards the front of the beanbag. Slowly, very slowly, so I can check the resistance and whether I'm upsetting the baby. I'm not just going to sort of put it down very quickly. I'm going to lower the baby down over its legs.
So Sandra, that looks like a really uncomfortable position. I don't think I'd like to be in that position. And I think this is where you need to be listening and watching the baby's cues. And if there's any resistance, you need to stop. But the baby, you know, should have the ability to be able to, you know, bend its knees and, you know, bend at the hips as well, and you know, out from the midline. So just be really mindful.
Well, which is actually a really great point. You do want the knees bent for this. They're going to be bent out from the hips and come to tuck just pretty much over their ankles, so that you have their toes coming up towards the front. Work slowly. And then you're going to bring the baby's head down. With this arm, you're going to want it to come up and over the toes and towards the chin.
So Sandra, we were talking just before about having the baby's chin in a neutral position. The baby at the moment looks like the chin is very much on the chest.
It does come down towards the shoulder.
Okay, so again, we just need to watch, you know, the baby, just to make sure that the baby is breathing okay.
Absolutely.
And, you know, not changing colour.
Actually, that's a really great point, because the head is so heavy and we have so much weight coming over the baby and on top of the legs.
So we need to watch, because of poor positioning and because of the sheer weight of the baby, that, you know, we're watching the colour of the legs and the feet. And if they're looking a little bit blue or pale or red, you know, we need to change the baby's position and take the weight off.
And don't leave the baby in this position for a really long time. I mean, we could get the shot. We don't need to get a heap of shots with this pose. We could get the photo, we could do one transition, and then maybe just ensure that you don't leave the baby in this position for a long time.
I think if a baby is really uncomfortable, they'll soon let you know.
Yes,
as well.
Absolutely.
And again, you know, be mindful of the baby's cues. One
thing that you can do with this pose, which I actually really love, and I have these adorable little outfits that I've been featuring throughout the tutorials from KLB Crocheted Creations. And what I actually love about this one is because I can sort of just lift up the sleeve a little bit, and because it's already not around the legs, I can really easily grab a wrap and put it over the baby as well, to just mix it up a little bit. So all I need to do is bring it up, tuck it underneath the bottom of the baby. And actually this wrap is from the Indie Cottage, and I love it because it's super stretchy, which that means that once it's in place, I have the ability to just sort of move it and stretch it to where I need it to be. And so I can easily hide the little green outfit that it was in to create this cute little wrap over it as well. And I'll just grab that photo. So that's taco pose. If you'd like to see some of our other posing tutorials or listen to more of our Anne-Marie's safety advice, definitely make sure that you're following us on YouTube.